There we go. So tonight's discussion circle, we continue moving through a deeper dive into what exactly does it take to create a visionary life. That's a discussion circle. And I don't consider myself the authority. I consider myself as someone who just keeps gathering circles around this, and we're acquiring wisdom over time about more and more of what that means to everyone to get to live a visionary life. And so I'm really excited to reconjure that up with the both of you, because gosh, if there's anybody who knows how to do it, it's the two of you. Oh my God. Manifesting, moving across the country, live on the beach and like live virtually. Naima coming up with whole new levels of business and getting super clear on what she wants to bring and coming more than ever. Like the two of you are absolutely fabulous, yummy goddesses to
Thank you.
Space for this. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, so good. And you both look so good on camera. It's just
Thank you.
Very good.
Hi, two beautiful women. There's
Yeah. He's like peeking through the window. I love it.
Well, I decided I wanted to sit out on the deck because, I can take the laptop out.
Yeah.
And he just got home, so.
What's the point of being indoors when Wi-Fi can follow you outside? Like,
Yeah. Well, it's a stream
Yeah,
of
and it's so nice
I'm not getting
out.
eaten alive by bugs or anything either.
mm-hmm.
So I like it out here.
I
He
love
just
your
said the
earrings,
alligators
Julie.
out.
Those are so pretty.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The alligators are out to get you, Julie. Is that what you're
No, like they're seriously. We're the apartment that we're in now is like right near the river, the Hillsborough River. So there literally are sometimes alligators. They're small. Usually only the babies come up, but apparently there's one out there.
Ooh,
He's
are
little,
Oh,
watch the dog because that's like about the right size. So. But it's kind of cool. I mean, there's actually other, like there's turtles that you get to see and herons, and so you're just like out there with nature, which is nice. This is much nicer than the apartment. Last week was moving week, and this is just set like it's just so much nicer, the surroundings and everything. So that's been really, really cool.
Yay! You're manifesting. What else is new?
Wow.
You're like, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's real. I really like it, but I really wanted a 3-bedroom house,
Mm-hmm.
but we couldn't afford a 3-bedroom house at this time.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, we're back to the 2-bedroom apartment,
Mm-hmm.
but it has like all these things I wanted. I wanted that layout where there's like an open kitchen with like a counter, so I don't feel like I'm closed off in a separate room. And I wanted either some kind of a balcony, porch, something like that. Got that. It's got plenty of light, and there's places to walk around that are nice. That's kind of like my criteria. So there was two of my criteria. It had to have washer, dryer, hookup, things like that. And it has all that too. So yeah, works out.
So beautiful. And you know what? What's good about that is that you're moving towards the vision, right? You're moving towards the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Elements of what your desire is great. We got part of it. We're continuing the conjuring. We're continuing the manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
I'm sure whenever I need to have that house, because we'd like to have a guest room that's just a bedroom and not, shared office space. But when it's really needed, we'll have it. So yeah, if you come visit now, you have to be on the daybed in the office.
That's fine. That works for me. How close are you to the beach?
Not as close as, yeah, that's the only thing. Because Tampa, I mean, well, there's probably beaches closer, but the beaches that I usually go to are St. Pete Beach. So it's probably like 45, 50 minutes at non-traffic time. So not horrible, but, you know, not like, oh, you walk down the street. I figured I'd never do anything but go to the beach if I was just walk down the street. So that'll be in a few.
Well, you know what? When you come in July for the retreat, we'll be across the street. You know, you just cross the street and
Yeah.
there's the beach. So
Yeah, which beach are we going to?
So it's Bayhead Beach, in New Jersey, and we're staying at the Bentley Inn. We're talking about the deep dive retreat.
I don't.
For 3 days, oceanside, and you can, if you want to stay earlier and then be there for the retreat and then stay after, or come in and go, or Nyla, if you don't want to stay there but you do want to come like for the retreat, either way works.
Okay.
Oh,
Sounds good. I'm excited about it.
I'm so excited too. Oh my gosh. And like the owner of the Bentley, and he is so good. He's like high energy, entrepreneur to the core. He's Green Party, like eats not vegan, what is it, paleo. He's like keeps everything under wraps, meets you at the door, loves to chat about things. He's a great sense of humor. He's just like, Glenn.
Oh.
He has to join us.
That's right. I told him, and he's like, I just might, you know, I'm an aging hippie. He like he has like not as much hair now. He's like, yeah, I used to have hair down my back, and I love meditation. I'm like, oh, you are so coming to this.
Can't wait to meet him.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's really bad though. Every innkeeper that I told about what I was doing, they're like, "Is it all right if I come?" I'm like, okay. I chose Glenn though, so sorry. Maybe
That's funny.
So good. So visionary life. I don't know if you, Naila, you've been to previous discussion circles around visionary life, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And so, Julie, I think this is your first one, but you and I have been together for God knows how long. So all of this, you're going to be like, yeah, and yeah. This is nothing. But instead, it's more of a education and invocation of the idea, because in the Visionary Shaman Circle, as both of you know, for those of you who are watching the recording, Naila is currently in the Visionary Shaman Circle, and Julie was, and she's like one of the charter members. You were first to go in. You're like, what are you doing? Yeah. She's like, what? Spa? Meditation? I'm in. I don't care what my business, whatever. Yeah, I love you. Let's do this. So good. So honored to have both of your support and both of you within the field and in the tribe. Like, your energy is absolutely gorgeous. This is you. So with that, in the Visionary Shaman Circle, we do vision journeys, right? Vision journey meditations to receive guidance from our spirit guides around how to move our life business forward. And so in the Shaman Circle, we tend to talk more around like what's coming up in business, like what we're creating, right? Our C2R2s, and so on. And there's also some around the lifestyle, right? Where strategic spa days, self-care, having more confidence as yourself, like as a woman, or I believe that there are also goddess-centric men that are conjuring into the circle as well. But coming from that space of heart-centered as well as confident good, healthy boundaries in business. That's come up for within our business talk, but the discussion circles, these ones for talking about how to create a visionary life, is more around life and vision journeying for life. Because I believe that journeying can really help us get centered and clear around what's our next step and make better decisions. Yes, in business, and it's interesting, we will invest in things that will help us be more grounded and centered and make better decisions in our business first, rather than just life. But I love that this practice can be used for both. You can do a vision journey for healing your heart, a vision journey for releasing an ex-lover, right? Or a vision journey for healing your body. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, really, I guess I'll be doing that too.
Like, how about today, like right after this call, Julie, it's like, I'm doing a journey to my crotch and we're going to heal you. I love you. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, whatever it is, right? And so in the shaman circle, we focus more around business, but this, in these discussion circles, I want to also invoke this as life, because it's lifestyle. Business is not our lives, right? It's a fraction. It's a fraction of who we are. I believe sincerely that business is how we commit to consistently contribute love to the community. That's what I believe business is. There's an energetic exchange that enables the consistent giving of love to the community, right? You have your God-given value, your God-given talents, your God-given vision and purpose, right? And as you enact and share that, that's your giving love to the community. How you then receive, right? Receive is energy, right? So that's in the form of goodwill, that's in the form of support, that's in the form of money, right? And of tribe. So giving and receiving, this, I believe, of love is what business really is. But that's one fraction of our lives. We do that in many other, like if this is, I'm creating an imaginary pie chart or something with my hands. That's one fraction of the rest of how you are giving and receiving love. In a book that I'm going through right now, Calling in the One, there's this beautiful mantra in there. I am fully open to giving and receiving love. And that's whether it's coming from me or coming from others or coming from a lover, coming from spirit, coming from food and things that I put into my body, etc. Being aware of where are our energy sources. Okay, thank you. My guides just told me to open up the discussion circle around that. Like, what do you feel feeds you energetically? Like, feeds you. Or you could say food and money, but what else? Where do you receive energy, inspiration, love, fuel? Like, what would you say are resources for you that you're grateful for, and that really fuel you?
I'd say positive interactions. So, like when I'm either working with a client or consultant for my businesses, one thing that I love is when we have open, high energy conversations around growing my business. One example, the nonprofit consultant that we work with, who is amazing. We absolutely love her, and she's so open and giving. So those type of interactions are the ones that really fuel me and feed my soul, because it gives me, there are more people out here than I initially thought who want to help and who are genuine and open and high vibrational beings like me. So I'm open to attracting them, drawing them in.
And so it is. Hey.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, it shall be. Like it already is, but we're like welcoming more.
Yes, yes. More, please.
Yay. Julie, what about you? What feeds you? Energy.
Well, I agree with that as being one of the things is when I have a conversation with somebody and I get to share my vision and they're very receptive to it, definitely that exchange going back and forth. Or if they tell me something that a dream that they have that like aligns, you know, it's that connecting in a way that, but for some, it not, I mean, I guess just being understood is okay, but it definitely is more when I'm talking about like something that's bigger than either one of us, and then we're both kind of like into that concept or something growth oriented, and then we go back and forth with ideas, that type of thing. That definitely fuels me. People say, well, you would know that you can see like my energy freaking changes like that when I start talking about certain things that I'm really passionate about, that type of thing. So getting to have those conversations with people is definitely one thing. The other thing that definitely helps me is like walking outside in nature, listening to like music and praying. That doing that really helps me to just feel so much better afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the gym and just getting out all of the excess, I don't know, it's negative, whatever, like that energy that like all the things running around in my head, if I physically get to move, it helps like relax all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It fuels me. Intimacy with my family definitely fuels me. And intimacy with people that I feel safe. Communication, touch intimacy, especially where I feel safe. Because there are people in my family that I don't quite feel safe with. Not everybody, but for the people that it is, it's incredibly fueling for my soul. Good music and dance to it and just get it out. That is so fueling. Art, if that wasn't enough to let you know, art really fuels me. I love art and color and sparkle and bubbles. Fantasy also, like that imaginative, bright, magical world fuels me. What else? Oh my gosh. Meditation fuels me. Gosh. Patting the cat fuels me. Flowers, like beautiful bouquets of fragrant roses, fragrant flowers, or even now the cherry trees are coming in. Oh my God, spectacular! That's
so pretty.
It's so powerful to know what gives you life, right? Gives you energy, like being able to talk to God and then feeling him and feeling her respond to me, like with the bird landing on the branch right when I needed to know something, like, oh my gosh, the Holy Spirit's here and watching over me, right? That's really soul filling. Or someone sharing their passion and I get to witness them, like watching TD Jakes talk about something amazing, or I can't stop talking about Simon Sinek, talk about something. Just being able to see people share their passion is super filling. And being clear on where's the resources in our lives can really help us create a visionary lifestyle. Let's go to the dark side then for a moment. So what happens if you're feeling low? What happens when you're feeling drained? what are the usual kinds of situations when you're feeling drained, or you're feeling that you're getting drained, or there's kind of a negative environment? What is that?
Do you really want us to say that on record?
Yeah.
So confess your sins publicly. Okay.
Let's spill the tea. Spill the tea, okay? All about the tea.
Well, I can be moody. I can get very moody and like just not what you see now. Not very nice. But I do make a conscious effort to not get to that point. But when I am at that point, it's not a nice sight to see. I'm very blunt. I'm very blunt with my feelings when I'm feeling drained, or like the communication isn't there. I don't really take into consideration a person's feelings and how they might receive what I say. So I try to stay far away from getting to that point. But
she put that so nicely. Yeah, I have that. I'll go on a rampage, and it's good. Like, it's best if the person I'm mad at isn't there, so that I can freak out and then be calm by the time I have to discuss. So that's usually better for everyone. Because when I'm drained, if I'm not drained, then whatever happens, I take a deep breath and I handle it. But if I'm drained because over and over again I've had to deal with the same subject and it's not fixed yet, or QuickBooks still isn't working right, that just happens to be one of the things I yell at. It's not a person, but when I feel drained is when I'm like, I just have no tolerance. It's like, all right, I'm done. F this, and nothing productive happens out of that at all. It's like I have to get that out and then get back to getting the vortex and then type of thing. But it's mostly when I thought something was going to be, when my expectations aren't met. I thought something was going to happen a certain way, or I asked somebody to do something and it doesn't happen, even if they said that they would, type of thing, and you're like, great, so why did I ask? So
Naila, how about you? I have to say something here.
I was gonna say, on the flip side, one thing that I use to get out of that drain is getting centered. So I've noticed a huge difference between when I'm centered and when I'm not, coming from a drained place. I notice that I'm more clear when I'm centered. I can think better. I have better ideas. I can articulate my thoughts better when I'm centered. And when I'm drained, I don't have any of that. So I try to use centering meditations to stay at that point where I can be clear and articulate what I want to say the right way, and not be annoyed easily like I am when I'm drained.
This is so powerful, because it's important for us as we work with like vortex energy and vibrating super high and living like a visionary life, that we honor the shit.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Shit is fertilizer, right? Properly used, it can actually be fertilizer. You can take the shit and actually let it be digested by the earth, right? Taken apart and then reframed, recycled to fuel the next level, to fuel the next growth. So we gotta honor where do we go when we go to the dark side. I know for me personally, when I'm feeling drained, I get real quiet. I don't get very expressive. I get really quiet. My voice drops. Like I'm not. Like we could go real resty bitch face in that realm. Get impatient. I do get pissed. And then so that's all of the emotion side. But also even physically, like it's important to know. Thank you. The guides say we're going over this. We're illuminating the problem so that you know when it's happening, because the real issue is that not recognizing when you're drained, and then pushing through a situation that it's toxic already. You shouldn't even be in that. Like it's not something to through. It's something to throw your hands up and say surrender.
Walk away.
So what else? Physically, my eyes will feel tired or kind of aching behind the eyes. I know that's when I'm drained. I'll get the low blood sugar feeling in my stomach and creeping up through the back of my head. Didn't really eat enough and too excited to eat and sit down. That's not good. What else? Tightness in the hips, jaw, and the shoulders as other signs that I'm being drained, like headaches that are coming up. Let's see. What else as I go through like my list of these are the signs that I'm drained. What else is coming up for you? Like, are you recognizing that it's, oh yeah, that I feel that too sometimes when I'm drained physically? What are your physical signs?
Yep, those are the physical signs for me too. And like my joints will crack, get cracks in my elbows or like my knees when I get up. Oh yeah, my joints crack.
That's a good one. What about you, Julie? Physical signs that
my stomach tightens, my throat hurts, my chest hurts sometimes, my lower back is seriously, will hurt a lot more, and my hips. But it's like, it's kind of more through the center of my body is, and then of course if I freaked out loud, then my throat hurts. But, and then it'll feel like I won't get an actual headache, but everything feels tight, probably because I'm clenching my jaw. So it just feels like stuck, kind of.
Oh.
Like that's when stretching really, like when you realize you're like scrunching your face and like tightening everything in your body because you're angry, and then suddenly you're like release it. Then that's kind of how that's for me. That's an indicator. Like, okay, you've been mad for too long. If you're this tense, because you're allowed to have under 16 seconds. I think Abraham says before it really kicks in and sticks. To think a negative thought. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a tightness, though, and usually through like the middle.
This is so powerful, especially for not only for us to really own what's our drain and what does it feel like, what does it look like, what are the signs, so that we personally can be more self-aware, but also to you who's watching, the viewer, right, those watching the recording, think, hey, wait a minute, am I even aware that I'm clenching my jaw right now? Like Cherise Sisu, claimyourfeminine.com, she's doing an amazing 5-day Facebook challenge right now, and she's going through all of the different holding patterns in women's bodies, and right, how we do the hunch, right, another sign, baby brain, the tension in the jaw, the Frankie, right, and what all of that means. Like she unpacks how that has so much more meaning for women in particular. But it's and I've supporting her, being in that group and really encountering all of her wonderful wisdom. It's amazing to see how unaware we are of ourselves. She's a dancer. She like is so in tune with the body. And then she watches women's bodies. That's where they're holding. It makes me think of Patrick, right? Julie and I know Patrick from LivePainfulProcess.com.
Mm-hmm.
He was my first teacher around body awareness. He said, okay, yeah, I can tell that person's butt hurts from how they're walking. Check out how their shoulder is going in alignment with that too. Oh my gosh, like if I could just do that, they would be totally fine. Like the level where
I can see him.
He's so silly. It's crazy though. You hang out with Patrick enough, you'll just be watching people's butts to be like, oh, I see what's going on. You're staring at their butt, but you're actually like seeing their energy. He's exceptional. Oh my God. So good. But it's so important to be aware of what are the signs of the crusty crabs. Right? So that as soon as you pick up on the crusty crab energy, right, the dream energy in yourself, more so than anything going on in your environment, more so than people being crusty crab, crazy fancy. It's important to remember, what does it feel like in me? Because the minute you realize that is the minute you can change that.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Robbins says, all change can happen how fast? Now. Like in a second.
Yeah.
As soon as you become aware of it. And so with that, I want to tune into the 3 points, the 3 pillars of living a visionary life that my guides have showed me. And I would love to take what we've invoked around being aware of the trust and apply it to those 3 pillars, because this is so juicy. I love having this ongoing conversation. It's really fascinating. So the 3 pillars for living a visionary life that my guides have shown me are: 1, a regular natural intuition cultivation, like regularly cultivating your relationship with your natural intuition, as opposed to some proscribed version of like, oh, just, do this spell, or work with this card deck, or pray to this person, or something like that, as a way to have a relationship with your intuition, or use this pendulum because it has all of these things that our marketing describes to you. It's so much more powerful to uncover your own source connection and to develop that and cultivate that regularly. I go over that, how to do that in the book, Natural Intuition Now. 2, regularized, consistent spiritual energetics exploration. Now, what exactly does that mean? Energetics means how energy works. There's a woo version of that word, energy work, but the proper term is energetics. But we're saying spiritual energetics. So how does spiritual energy work? Or can you feel your own auric field? How are you able to perceive others' empathic ambient energy? Are you aware of other alternative therapies, such as reflexology, like Julie said, right, or meditation, and how that feels inside of you, and what that does for your health? So this is the health side, is regular spiritual energetics exploration. And that means try stuff out. Go to the gong meditation or the bowl meditation, or get the massage with the Reiki and the what's blah, blah, blah. Let them do all that stuff and see, right, how it feels, how it shifts the way that you feel in your body and in relationship with, right, life around you. Because spiritual energetics is what moves creation. And the more you're aware of that, right, the better. When I learned Reiki personally, I learned that I'm capable of literally moving and shaping energy, which means I can literally move and shape my world. Right? It's exceptionally empowering to know how to be an energy worker. So you want to have that exploration in your life too, to live a visionary life. And then 3, divine feminine community. So being in community with others, right? Relationship is foundation of a healthy life. The divine feminine community in particular values questions more than answers, right? Values discussion more than winning. Right? Values feelings more than the point necessarily, right? Because it's an exchange of energy. It's creative, it's flowing, open to innovation, curious. Divine feminine energy is also playful and nurturing. It's tribal, right? We take a tribal approach to problem solving rather than I'll do it because I get it done. No. We do it because together is better. Or by feminine community. And I believe that that's really like the one thing we need the most of now, because, well, if I were to take a standard on that, technology can really drain us, right? How often throughout the day are we like this?
All day.
Like throughout the day, and our eyes are being exposed to blue light spectrum, which actually over time burns your retinas. So it's dangerous to be on all these devices all the time. But we're hunched into this bit of technology. Why? Because there's people in here. There's people and networks and communities and stories and emotions inside of this thing. What would happen if we were able to find that level of connection, but out here in physical? It's so much more energy and intimacy, right, in the human exchange. So let me check in. Is being on your phone or being on the laptop, do you find it draining?
Sometimes.
Yeah, it depends what I'm doing. Well, especially if I'm checking my email and then a bunch of people have problems, or, just things that I have to research and get back to them, and it's like, I already did this, like, it depends what it is. But because I'll check it because I'm looking for information about maybe 1 or 2 things, and then there's always that other email. Oh, that person needs something. Yeah, and then it's sort of like, I hate checking my email. And that's not really how it's supposed to feel. But I've recently just decided I'm not going to check it all the time. I'm going to check it twice a day. Tough, because it's especially like not first thing in the morning, laying in bed, checking my emails and get like, it's sort of, sometimes it feels like getting a head start on the day, which is fine if all you're doing is deleting junk emails. But if you then have like, oh my gosh, I owe this person this, I owe this person that, and then you're like, it's not relaxing, and it's just kind of like, all right, fine. And then if I wanted to go work out or meditate before I start working, that's kind of hard to do when I'm thinking about all the things that I should do. So it's sort of like, make the list the night before and don't look at it again until you're ready to start your work day. Like, separate that out. So that's what I'm trying to do more of, that instead of mixing it so much. I just, like, yesterday redid my schedule and set like in time blocks that I hope we're going to work this time. And because I've done this before and then I like completely disregard my own boundaries and stuff. But this time I put more time in to do everything. I put in time for lunch so that I'm not just sitting there eating while I work. So we'll see how it goes. So there's more time for like there's time scheduled in for self-care, you know, like walking and meditating is under the realm of self-care for me. And then also time for learning, because like, especially with Private First, I need to be looking at all, because there's a ton of resources in the website that they give us, Private First University, of like how to market it and different things about it. I should be reading the book over and over. And I need to have time to actually do that. Just like I need to have time to pray. Like I pray as I go through my day, but if I'm going to be purposeful and pray for individuals or situations, I need to set aside the time, undistracted time to do that. So it's like it's another form of meditation, but you know, anyway.
So good. And that's the power of being in divine community, is that we're reminded when we're surrounded by people whose energy feeds us, like inspires us, feeds us. We're reminded of what matters most, right? Because business is not what matters most, right? The self-care, the care and intimacy with loved ones, contribution, right? Pleasure, spirituality, those things that really feed your soul is really what matters most. And more than ever, we really need to be in community with others who remind us, bring that and reflect that back to us. Not necessarily we're surrounded by people who are like, are you doing what you said you do? Are you doing what you said you do? Like accountability. Not just check that off the list, but instead in who they are reminds us, right, that, oh yes, I have a drop of the divine in me too, and I'm worthy of unplugging from this phone, right? Mm-hmm. And it's so powerful to be around other people who inspire us to stand boldly in our sacred humanity, right? Where I'm not a machine, I'm not an email checker, you know, I'm not a like a money machine or something like that. I'm actually a human being with needs and desires and awe and wonder and play, right? I'm a part of nature. And to be in environments that remind us that we're a part of nature. How many people are stuck in their cubicle or work in offices with no windows, right? Or work super long hours, days, where you can basically, you don't really see a plant for God knows how long, because I mean, you wake up in a box, you work in a box, and you eat out of a box. If there's any plants around, they're planted in boxes, so you get this kind of feeling of being boxed in, and that's what's
Mm-hmm.
And that has like a cumulative effect. So to be around people and environments that inspire us to step back into our natural energy, right, and more, is so empowering. And for the vision that I believe God gave you, right, that Goddess gave you, Source gave you, you've got to be connected to as much resource and as much energy as possible, because that vision that you've got, like you need more energy than ever. And I'm looking at both of you, Julie and Naila. I know both your visions, and oh my God, you need a lot of energy to be able to realize that.
Well, even just to create the things that I know I could and want to do now, I need the energy to do that. And I need to carve out the space to do that. Open up the space, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I can't do it if I'm constantly exhausted and, I'm running like crazy. So that was another thing with my schedule. It's like, how many hours do I really want to do client work itself? How many hours do I really want to do in the networking? And how many hours do I want to leave myself? And, type of thing. I mean, I think I left myself, basically, I broke it up into days. So it's like 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, rather than 1 8-hour day of time to learn and create. So I think I have it written down as, read, learn, do, and project. Like it's all, I put there were 2 separate sections, the read, learn, and then project. And I thought, let me put them together because they're going to overlap. I'm going to learn something. I'd be like, I need to put that on my website. Or, we're not talking like huge project necessarily, but just the pieces of, we put it together of like the book that Lee has me ready is a series of interviews. So maybe one day's project is going to be call these 3 people and see if they want to do this, or sit down and think of people to call, like make a list that sort of, like pieces of project.
But to have that space is
right. Like the designated time to do that is, instead of thinking, well, maybe I'll get to it on the weekends, because that never happens.
What do you
Because sometimes I don't want to have scheduled time. I want time that's not scheduled, or I can do whatever I want. So I need unscheduled time in my schedule.
What the hell,
yeah.
Yes.
Nyla, what's coming up for you?
I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to clone myself to get all the things done that I need to get done. I don't know how. I know we talk about in living a visionary life, having a team and how you can't do everything by yourself. So I'm still working on that aspect of myself and my business and trying to identify those individuals who can help. And it's a process. I'm moving along steadily. We've gotten some volunteers that can help with the business. So that's yay. But yeah, really relieving myself of some of the duties that I have to do to prevent that exhaustion is important.
Mm-hmm. And you want to, by the way, what will help your ask, right? Because learning to ask for help is a spiritual practice in and of itself.
Seriously.
Stick on that healing journey. Stick on that. And it's causes you to be vulnerable, right? Asking for help and then receiving it. I mean, it's very difficult to be open and trusting, but what will help your ask in identifying the right people is looking for divine feminine qualities, right? In the people that support you. And people who are curious, right? People that are creative, people that value we, right? The tribe, the wisdom think, that desire to love and to contribute. When you're around them, you feel safe, right? You feel safe, you feel connected. That'll really help the hiring process. And also asking those who you are in Divine Feminine community with, who do you know who would you recommend? How did you do that? And by the way, ask me. You can PM me. So how did you start hiring people? How did you pull your front tooth out to pay out that much money? It feels like. I'm not going to say that's what it felt like. That's what it feels like every single.
Oh my God.
Right? It's powerful, but at the same time, I get to welcome in more love and support. And with that, I recline into the role that I was built to be. Holding court like this. More in a healer space. Staying as the creative visionary. But I got to have a massive team behind me, a leveraged team behind me, a conscious team behind me, an active team behind me in order to stay in the role of visionary of the business. And that's a practice. It's a practice for sure. So this is, oh my gosh. This is a juicy conversation. Like, oh my God.
Yes.
So good. And especially, thank you. Like I just said the word boundaries. Bringing in healthy boundaries and and prioritizing self-care above all else has got to be a priority. Like, even if I'm only just speaking to you, Julie, and you, Naila, I know you're watching. You are watching the recording, but even just to you both, prioritizing your self-care because of the level of vision, right? Because both of you have big visions. Like, I know Julie has a global vision. I know Naila has like a legacy level, legacy level visions. You have to prioritize your self-care as you step forward into your expansion. And Jeff Walker, he speaks very well about this. The reason why is because you are holding space for more people than the average bear. Even with just holding that desire to realize that vision takes energy. And self-care is the first thing that you can do because you are yourself. You can do your self-care. You gotta get that wild horse of yourself reined in. Put that unicorn horn on her and say, stay. Right? You gotta tame your wild horse, because if you're going to realize that vision, and I know both of you are, like, I have total faith in you. I know I'm going for mine. I know we wouldn't be speaking now if this all wasn't about to happen. But if you're going to go for it, you gotta have that energy. You gotta have your space and know what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Know that you are increasing your time freedom and that it's not decreasing as you yourself, right? So it's really important to have that as a priority. So good. So good. So I want to thank you both for being so open-hearted and showing up and sharing. Oh my gosh, for this discussion circle. And the saga continues. I feel that this is an ongoing discussion. Oh my God, Naila, you've been to a couple. Like, it's different every time.
Every time.
Every time. And it's good every time. I love hearing everyone's story. Where everyone's passion is, what they're working on, and just as a thank you both so much for being present. And to you who's watching the recording, if this really speaks to you, and if you're done going it alone, I would really wholeheartedly invite you to anchor yourself in the Visionary Shaman Circle, right, as the foundation for creating your visionary life this year. What's beautiful about the Visionary Shaman Circle is that we have open-hearted discussions like this all the time, right? Let this be a way of life. Julie, is there anything that you would want to say to the viewer right now if they were curious about the Visionary Shaman Circle? Just from you having been in it before, what would you say?
Well, besides telling them they should be there for next week to get a taste of it.
Yeah.
And by the time you spend next week, you're going to be like, you'll know I have to do this, or I'm going to do this eventually, or, whatever. So that's a great way to learn more about it, and especially for somebody that doesn't really know you very well, it's a great way to get to know you and see, because you're like all there, and it's really fun. So I would highly recommend checking that out, and that I'm sure would help anybody make their decision, with lots of information and experience. They've experienced it. So
thank you. Naila, what would you say to someone to find a way to anchor themselves? And because I'm recommending that the viewer consider the Visionary Shaman Circle as their anchor for creating a visionary life they love. And seeing as you're in it right now, is there anything that you would want to share with who's watching the recording right now? Oh dear, we can't hear you. I guess you must have frozen. Oh, well. Oh, I think the reception's getting her.
We lost her. Wait,
She's sideways. Hold on.
she's sideways and muted.
Can we hear you now? Yes.
Okay. I don't know why my call keeps dropping. I must have something important to say. But I was going to say that the best way that they can anchor themselves is by making the decision to get involved with a divine feminine group like the Visionary Shaman Circle. And since being a part of it, I've learned so much about myself and the things that I didn't know that I didn't know. Like our discussion this morning about soulful sales. Like, yes, we know that we want to work with people that are ideal clients for us, but the level that we got into it this morning, I was like, a soul level connection. I never thought about it that way for clients. So thinking about the way that you approach your business and the way that you approach your life in a soulful way is like there's no amount of money that could pay for the value that gives you, because it helps you grow abundantly in both personal and business life. So I'm forever grateful. Thank you so much, Victoria.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I love you both, Naila, Julie.
Love you too.
I love you. Oh my gosh. And to you watching the recording, I love you too. And for more details, go check out victoriawhitfield.com/Visionary Shaman Circle. We'll see you there. Thank you so much, Julie.
Okay.
Naila.
Bye.
Bye.